love it with some passion. Rubber band and the money that keeps stacking. Got a honey who come with elite fashion. She too fine, I tell her that thing magic. You ain't a hustle, you broke, well that seems tragic. Gotta catch in the field like deep passes. I tell her plug if it's sticky, then please bag it. I need the best cause I grew up beneath madness. Need a Matt Burgundy Mercy. Jewelry so heavy it might hurt me. Smoking extra kill, that extra seal. Whoa, Buffalo money need extra bills.
The extra bills. What is going on? Bills fans, football fans, sports fans, just my peoples in general. What is going on with y'all? It is Wednesday, July 5th. It's the day after Independence Day. And I got my crew with me. I got my peeps. I got my man Steros for the girls who missed out last week. And I got my man Jeremiah Poyer kicking it with us. We are without Antoine Staley, but that's all right. He's going to be back one of these days soon. I don't know where he at, but he'll be back. What is going on? What's up, Jeremiah?
Yo. How you guys been?
Man, we've been good. I've been good. Well, I can't speak for Sterling. I've been good. How you been?
Hey, you know what? I just got back from Kansas City where it was hot. I'm happy to be home where it rains every day apparently in Colorado, but I'm good, man.
Man, I don't know how people just live with rain.
Every day, dude.
Like, I mean, it's all the time. Like, I can see if it was like Florida rain, because like Florida rain is like it'll rain for like 15 minutes and it feels like it's gonna be a hurricane in a second, and then all of a sudden it goes away and it dries up, and then your day is perfectly fine. But all of that stuff like that, what y'all got, man, I can't do it. I can't even do Buffalo. Let me, before Bills Mafia kills me and whoever's in the comments, it's dreary all the time. Like it just feels like it feels like every day is cloudy.
I couldn't do
Am I
that.
wrong?
I couldn't live in Buffalo. I'm sorry. Like I need sunshine, man. All that, you know, rain and snow and cloudy. I can't do that, bro.
Man. Jay Cole, what's up, man?
What up, boys?
What up?
With your whole chest.
So for those listening by podcast, you just missed a cameo from All-Pro safety Jordan Poyer. But let's get right into it, man. Let's we got a couple topics today. Today's gonna be a fun episode. We're gonna kind of talk we're gonna talk about what's happening in the NFL, but we also want to try to have a conversation that's not so serious all the time, so stressed and all that stuff. So we're gonna start off. This episode is called GOAT Talk. And I feel like we always compare people, like who's like right now, me and Jerry Ostrowski we've been arguing for probably like 4 weeks about who's better, Michael Jordan or LeBron James, right? So we always have that conversation. Then it's like, I know now it's no longer Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, but that discussion was going. And then in like today's NFL, you got the three-headed monster quarterback. Well, we all know Mahomes right now got it, but Mahomes, Josh, and Burrow. And then, okay, what about the bums? Maybe bum is the wrong word because these guys are pros, so I can't call people bum. But what about bus? Bus talk. How about that? That's pause. We got to relax.
I didn't even pick up on that. So
I didn't either till I said it. Like once I said it, it was like, oh, pause. Okay, so we're gonna talk about disappointing player talk. How about that? Because we got to say it the right way. So for the Buffalo Bills, and in the comments, y'all tell me who y'all feel is there and who shouldn't be there. But we're going to talk about the Buffalo Bills, and then we're going to talk about just overall for the NFL. So for the Buffalo Bills, who would you say? And we can start with Jeremiah, because Jeremiah is technically he's not like an OG Bills fan, which is okay. It's okay. You're on the squad now. So as for from your perspective,
I'll go with my original one. My theory on bust is like your expectation and then what you give to me. So like if your expectation is extremely high, if you're drafted first, second round, and then you give my team nothing, like that's what I would go with as long as bust. And I've only been with the Bills for so long, and I can't name anything for the last 7 years. So I'd go with probably Cody Ford. He was drafted in the second round, and like he just never got a footing here. And do I think that he could develop into a great player with great coaching? Yeah, sure. But he just gave the Bills nothing. And so like, could that have been the Bills coaching staff? I don't know. But he just didn't really give anything here. And he was expected to be that solid right guard when they drafted him in the second round. So that would be my choice of the time period that I've been here.
That's legit. That's
yeah,
legit.
you really can't argue with that.
I mean, I can, but I'm gonna wait. How do you feel about that? Like, so first, before you give your opinion, how do you? So you said you can't argue about it. So double down on it for me. Tell me why you agree.
Man, well, I do remember a day where you and I, Spence, we argued about Cody Ford, and we were excited about the draft pick. You know, coming from Oklahoma.
Wait. No, I was never excited about the draft pick. I got video from draft day. I was at the draft. Like, not at the draft. I was at the Bills party in Orchard Park. And I have video of my face where some folk it was like, I was upset. And they was like, seriously, you going to be this upset? But go ahead.
But after the aftermath, we all kind of wrapped our minds around Cody Ford being on the squad, right? And, you know, you want, I mean, it's a second round pick. You want him to come in and start. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And, bro, he just, it's like, you know, later it came out that he was having some mental health issues, which, you know, that's tough. I mean, you know, we all know somebody or been there ourselves. And I just feel like, man, like, for the hype that he got when he was drafted, like, oh, he ain't do nothing. Man, didn't do nothing. I mean, slow feet. You want to talk about strength at the point of attack. I mean, it's like, dude, he was, I feel bad even like saying anything bad about the dude because I don't know him personally, but he just wasn't a good football player for the Bills, at least.
Yeah. And I think that's where I come in when I want to debate it. Because for the Bills, no, he wasn't a good football player. But I blame that. And I think this is what you were talking about when we were on the pod. Like, I blame that on the fact that, the Bills, Sean McDermott was playing like musical chairs with that dude. You know what I mean? He came into the league. He was supposed to, he was drafted as a right tackle.
For sure.
But he was drafted as a right tackle, but he was scouted as a right guard. Everyone I talked to before then, you told me. Everybody at Buffalo Fanatics told me. Everybody, because that's who we were with Buffalo Fanatics that year. Everybody told me, Cody Ford, man, he's a legit dude. He's gonna be a great right guard. He's gonna be all of that. Like, that's what y'all sound like to me. Right? And then he gets here. They start him at right tackle, then they move him to right guard, then they move him to left guard, then they move him back to right guard. He never actually had not even like a 5-week period to play the same position. So when that's the case, when I listen to guys like Reuben Brown, the Hall of Famer, Reuben Brown came on the code of conduct it was right before the Miami game, before the playoffs. And he came on the show and he said, I played right tackle and left tackle. It's hard. Like, it's different. And so to me, like, you moving this guy around on the whole line, like, so that's why I feel. And he came out to Arizona and he had a decent season. Now, Kyler Murray is Kyler Murray, so he didn't help the line look good at all. But if you know football, you can watch and tell that he didn't look horrible, and it was just Kyler. Same reason why D-Hop wanted to trade. So, to
be fair, I can't. To the coaching staff, like, that moving could have been Cody's doing. Like, that could have been him saying, well, I'm really comfortable at right tackle. Like, let me set my foot down at right tackle. And then it didn't work out at right tackle because I don't know why it didn't, and then they moved him to right guard, and then it just wasn't working out with the pieces that he had there. Like, it could have been not coaching, more just like the people that were around him. It wasn't a good fit. But, like, as I would say that if you're drafted second round, like, you're expected to produce and for the team that drafted you. And he was injured a lot, and he just didn't really give me anything here in Buffalo, and that's why that would be my pick.
Well, let me ask you this thing, because if you're and so don't beat me up, anybody. I'm asking questions. I'm not saying nothing about nobody. I'm asking questions. So, with that being said, the second round pick, you just said you would have an expectation for a certain level of production. Have we gotten second round pick production from Boogie Basham?
No.
No, but his draft came after, and so, like, I would hold out reservation until he was either done with the Bills or and also that draft, I mean, it was light. Like, so, like, the expectation of Boogie Basham, let's be honest, when Cody was drafted in comparison to when Boogie was drafted, we expected a lot more of Cody when he came in than Boogie. And the expectation was, well, I guess the majority of people, I know Spence knows everything from the get-go, right? So maybe he didn't expect Cody, but
I didn't.
The majority of people expected more from Cody than they did from Boogie, and Boogie's still progressing. So I mean, I don't know if he'll give you second round by the time he's done, but as of right now, I'd say it's Cody.
Okay, no, and I'm with you. I wasn't saying that. I don't think Boogie's a bust at all. I was saying that more so just to ask, because like we do have these conversations a lot about, especially me when on these shows we talk about like Gabe Davis. Like, is he a good number 2 wide receiver? Is he now? Do I think he's outplaying his draft position? Yeah. So
sure.
You look at him as that player. He's outplaying his draft position. He's doing this. But then when you talk about these second round picks and you talk about first round picks, that's when it's like, because then some people would say EJ Manuel. Some people will say Aaron Maben. Me personally, I was going to pick Aaron Maben, but you can make a case for a ton of guys, man. And so I think Cody's a good.
If I had remembered EJ would have been mine.
Man. Really?
If I had remembered just for what he did, like that would have been.
I tell you what.
Hey,
no, I mean
Jeremiah, real nice, man. He nice. Like Boogie. Listen, Boogie Basham. Y'all might love him, but he's a bust to me. My man's a bust. You either got it or you don't. The fact that the Bills are still going out there trying to sign free agent defensive ends tells me, bro, you ain't step up. You had a perfect opportunity when Vaughn went out, and it's like, bruh, like we need you to like step up, and it just didn't happen. So, in my opinion, I feel like Boogie's a bust, and Cody Ford, he just got picked up by the Bengals, so he's going to be up there with Joe Burr. So we're gonna see what he's about. So this will be the
more
third
struggles
team.
To a struggling O-line. If I'm not mistaken, the Bengals struggled last year on O-line, and I don't know if Cody's the answer. But
Right.
They struggled once injuries hit them again, but they had a greatly improved offensive line for a good part of the season, and they invested heavily this year. They got a very good left tackle now. So I'm just saying, let's see. So now at this point, I don't wish anybody to fail, but
for sure,
when he plays us, I want him to be a bust at this point. Like, we got to play the Bengals. Yeah, I want him to be a bust. For sure.
He's a bust right now.
Yeah, you a bust.
Call it what it is, man.
Easy. So who's your pick, though, Sterls, if you was to pick whether recent or just of all time?
I got you. We got to go all the way back to 2002. All right. University of Texas offensive tackle Mike Williams, man. First of all, like, I don't know about y'all, but I don't get excited about offensive linemen being taken that early anyways. Like, because there's no glamour in that. Sorry, John Fina, but, it's just moving the needle for me. But my man's it looked like he didn't even want to play football, bro. That dude did not want to. He was just, how like you meet people, they just big. Like God said, you just big. Like, and he just so happened to play football because he was good at it. And he could dominate at the level of play. And then when he got to the NFL, I mean, it's like, it's a whole different beast. And my man didn't play 4 seasons in Buffalo, really didn't do nothing.
It's probably a great answer because I don't know who that is.
Right?
So yeah,
it's probably a great answer. That's crazy.
So that's definitely it. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I wouldn't even try to argue it. Even try to argue it. So my pick, actually, now that we talking about recent guys, I guess it depends, like, on what you would call a bust. Like, at what point, what round do they have to be drafted into where it's like, well, no, even if they're not successful, they're not a bust because they weren't drafted high. So like, what round does this
I would say like third day, like I like third day draft. Like,
so after the third round,
they don't really have an expectation of what they're gonna do, unless it was for issues, right? Like out of football issues.
So fourth and later.
Yeah.
Okay. So you need a candidate for that because I got one.
Well, no. Well, you can give me. Go ahead.
Zach Moss.
That's where I was going, because I was going to say, if we're talking third rounders, you can't tell me there was somebody that gave us less than what we expected. We thought we got 2 running backs in the third round that was going to be like, like this 2-headed monster for us. And Zach Moss just couldn't read he just couldn't do anything. But go ahead and tell me why you picked him, because I swear this is exactly who I was bringing up.
Well, I mean, when he came out, I liked his tape out of Utah. Man, I thought the dude he ran like to make people make business decisions. I even hate saying that now. Like, it's like it's blocked in my mind. Like, I would never ever say that about a running back ever again because he ruined it for me. But you saw him like with contact balance and running hard. Like he had all that, and then he gets to Buffalo, and it's like, man, that dude couldn't find a hole if it was in front of him, bro. Like, I mean, the dude just ran into contact. And I can understand to an extent, like, not that you guys are saying this, but it can't always, well, the Bills misused him. No, my man's had every opportunity because last I checked, Devin Singletary's a solid back. He's okay, but he's not this earth-moving back, right? So he had opportunities to make plays.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? He had opportunities to make plays. He just didn't do it. So
I'm a big proponent of, like, as I watched, they really, really liked Devin. And throughout Zach was pretty much drafted to be a backup. And so, like, in my opinion, they gave Devin every single opportunity that he was going to get because he was the guy, his motor, right? Like, coaches love
sure.
that go type of mentality. And if Zach was to get the opportunities that Devin got, I don't see it being much less, if less than what Devin gave you. I just think they're two similar, solid, like, I would say second backs. I wouldn't, if you want a back to carry a load, I don't think either one of them, but, like, I think they're two solid second backs. If, like, I guess Zach was a second back and he wasn't producing, so maybe Zach's not a solid second back, but I think if he got the opportunities that Devin got, it would be looked at differently to where, like, okay, Zach gave you what Devin did, but, like, it's still not great.
Can I ask you guys a question? And because I don't know how I want to classify this one. Will we say Sammy Watkins is a bust? I know he's still in the league.
Yeah. For the expectations that Sammy Watkins had coming into the league. I mean, we were talking about this dude was like, he's like Percy Harvin with receiving ability. Like, this guy's a running back that plays wide receiver. I mean, we heard it all. And the fact that the Bills traded assets, right, to get Sammy Watkins at 4 when you could have had Khalil Mack, or you could have had Mike Evans and Odell Beckham Jr. And I mean, I could name 5 other wide receivers that were better than Sammy Watkins. So yeah, Sammy Watkins to me was a bust.
And I guess the reason why I asked that is because I know Jeremiah said if I would have remembered it, I would have said to EJ Manuel. And the thing is, it's like, yeah, we can blame EJ, but I guess the same thing for me that I said about Cody. I blame the coaches. I feel like at the time, our head coach, he just didn't believe in EJ. And before EJ's knee injury, he didn't look like a world changer, but he looked like a solid quarterback that was confident. And, you know, he made some mistakes, but we were okay. He looked horrible after that knee injury. He did, but yo, they did him so bad. Like, they did him so bad.
Hey, I'm just thinking about all the memes and everybody just what they were saying about EJ. Even people were on EJ, even like when he beat the Carolina Panthers on that one drive and he got down and started crying, like, people clowning him for that. It's like, that dude could not catch a break for nothing, bro.
You remember
the Winston
hospitality tent at OTAs
early days.
That's the FSU.
EJ hit the hospitality tent, bro.
Shout out to EJ. EJ's my dude. Shout out to EJ, man. But I say that to say, so I'm saying we call EJ a bust, which I think we all can agree as Bills fans, we probably would. You spend a first round pick on a quarterback and he's no longer on your team. You know, he's a bust. But the reason why I asked about Sammy is because too, it's like when you get a receiver of that caliber, you just expect him to elevate the level of player of your quarterback. That's what they're hoping now out in Chicago. That's what the Bills hoped when they brought Diggs here. That's what, like every team, we see this. You go and get the guy and it elevates the play. It didn't do it for EJ. Now Sammy actually looked good with who was the dude that we got off the streets to
who Jordan Matthews?
No, I'm talking about the quarterback, Orton.
Uncle Rico.
Yeah, like he came in and he looked perfectly fine with Sammy. So I don't know. Maybe Sammy wasn't the boss. Maybe it was EJ. Who knows?
Bro, Sammy lost me when they were playing the Jets, man. And dude start celebrating and got tackled. Y'all remember that? He caught that long touch. Yeah.
I remember seeing the highlight. They show it all the time over here in Buffalo. That's crazy.
Hey, TJ Graham is another one. 3rd round. Could have had Russell Wilson. Right.
Real quick though, before we get off of EJ, you know what's crazy to me about EJ? Not EJ, I mean Sammy. This man went to Casey and played with probably the best, not probably the best quarterback in the league. Still wasn't good. He went and played with Lamar Jackson. Still wasn't good. He went and played with he's played with top tier quarterbacks.
Aaron Rodgers
still didn't produce nothing. Now you can say injuries. I get it. Injuries played a big part of it. But Daryl Domes just said Sammy was made out of a light bulb glass. Yo. Shout out to my man John in the comments. John is always a big supporter of the show. We appreciate you, man. Much love to you. I'm sorry, what'd you say, Jeremiah?
Injuries play a part in being a bust. That's just part of the that's just part of the world we live in, right? Like I can't imagine Andrew Luck, right? Like how many years did he play? Like he was gonna be great. Can we consider Andrew Luck a bust?
No,
Andrew Luck was getting it done, bro.
Yeah, but like he's no longer there. He was drafted high. Everybody expected him to be the next Peyton Manning, and injuries play a part in being a bust. Like that's just the world we live in. So like somebody can make the argument that Andrew Luck is a bust based off the fact that he's no longer playing anymore, even though he made it to a couple. He made it to playoffs and did his thing. Like he was great, but like he played 4 or 5 years.
You want to take that, Cyril? I'm gonna respond too, but I want you to respond.
Yeah. So Andrew Luck played a total of 7 years, right? Now he had 171 touchdowns, 83 interceptions, had a record of 53 and 33. Like that's a good career. Like Baker Mayfield will never get to that. And he's trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying?
So won't.
And the fact that the Colts didn't have an offensive, they refused to get a good offensive line in front of this man. They ruined his career. So that man, he preserved himself. So I like Andrew Luck. So it's hard for me to say that he's a bust.
I do too.
I can understand where people can say, well, he was a bust because he ain't here. And what the Colts did to get Andrew Luck, they kind of, they flopped. They tanked that year. They got rid of Peyton Manning, and then they got Andrew Luck. So I can see both sides.
I can't, and I'm gonna tell you what. Just because it's like Andrew Luck isn't there because of him. He's there because of the organization, or he's not there because of the organization. They didn't protect him. Even with all of the injuries he was getting, he still put up those numbers that Sterling mentioned. Dude was putting up, I think one season, they were talking about this dude like he was about to break a record. Like he was like how do you go? How do you move on to him?
So hold on, before you guys go, let me tell you what his best season was. It was a 2014. He threw for 4,761 yards, 40 touchdowns, and 16 interceptions. I mean,
come on, dog.
That's pretty damn good, man.
Let me ask you something though. If you have a wide receiver that's drafted 1 and his quarterback keep getting him knocked in the head every time he throw it down the middle, like he's throwing him, setting him up, and he get too many concussions and he gets sent home and he can't play anymore, is that receiver now a bust or is it not a bust because the quarterback's the reason he got hurt?
Well, I think you got to realize like why the quarterback hates that wide receiver so much that he get him his head knocked off. He done pissed somebody off talking to his wife or I don't know, but like I say it, man. It's on that quarterback, man. Because if you got a bona fide superstar as a wide receiver that you draft very high, like it'd be like this. Like if we put that into context, like Jamar Chase coming into the league, right? When he was at LSU, that man was a dog, and he got his college quarterback. So if the chemistry was off with the Bengals and Joe Burrow, I'd be like, yo, like, what's up with Joe? Like, why is he doing my man's dirty like this? Because we know Jamar Chase is. I mean, he's top 5 wide receiver in the league now. So, but that's just one case. So I mean, I could see it.
Yeah, I guess but I get where you're going with the question, like, because then if I agree with you, then it'd be like, well, Andrew Luck is a bust. But the thing is, I guess I'm saying, like, I look at him and it's like those seasons when you watch those games and you saw how he played, it was clear that he was a superstar.
Absolutely.
So, and like the injury, and then it was like, because I guess like, so what if Joe Burrow would have retired after that knee injury? Would you have called him a butt? Like, no, he had that team looking like the best version.
There's an argument that if he retires after the knee injury, he's an argument that he's a bust. You gave me 3 years and I drafted you and put everything around you. Like I mean,
I don't know.
they
I
didn't
put
put
that
everything around Andrew Luck, but I mean, they gave him enough to get to the playoffs.
When I think about and I guess maybe it comes down to how you define what a bust is, right? Because I guess for me, I define a bust as somebody who didn't live up to their potential because of them, like things that they could control.
For
So
sure.
like I look at guys who are lazy or guys who like Kelvin Benjamin. God. Look, man.
Mr. Big for no
Look,
reason.
man. We saw him with Cam, right? It's like we saw him kind of sort of be what we consider a number one wide receiver, right? Like he had a decent. He gets to Buffalo. Your brother was on the team, man. When we get off air, you don't have to ask him for me. You talk to him, ask him. Dude, Josh went out and asked him if he wanted to practice routes. No, I'm cool. You're quarterback. And then eventually you get ran out the league. Then it's like, okay, I picked up some extra weight and for whatever reason, right? So I don't want to, because I gained weight, so I don't want to talk about weight, but he picked up extra weight and then he wants to convert to a tight end. So you were a number one wide receiver, got lazy, did nothing, tried to convert to a tight end, couldn't make the team. No. So to me, that's a bust.
Man, yeah.
That's a bust. If I'm good and I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, and then the team that I work for doesn't put they don't
so injuries
invest
are
in me
out
like
of the
they want to.
question.
Well, no. I won't say out of the question because that has a part to do with depending on the type of injuries or depending on what it is. So for instance, if I'm the quarterback and I don't have a line and I get hit 40 times a game, I don't think that injury is on me. But if I'm running and I don't take care of myself and I don't squat or whatever, and all of a sudden I pull my hamstring every single time I scramble, and then I retire because I got weak hamstrings, that's something that I could have corrected. But the offensive line, I can't block for these dudes. Like I can't block myself for them.
Right.
So I guess that's what I mean when I say, how do you define, what are we going to say? What's the criteria?
Popeye,
the definition's great. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say Popeyes is a hell of a drug. So
hell of a drug. Now I tell you what. Now y'all think I don't like Baker? You know what I'm saying? Like y'all think I don't like Baker? Y'all think
we know you don't like Baker.
No, we know you don't like Baker.
No, but I like him more than I like Kelvin Benjamin.
The way you even say that man's name is funny. Like you emphasize that Benjamin.
Okay. He's such a bum, bro. Like he's such a bum. Like and I know I get on Baker. I know I lay it on thick, but come on, man. And then look, I had a not so strong love for Isaiah McKenzie. I would take Isaiah McKenzie 10 times out of 10 over Kelvin Benjamin. Sign him back. Give him a bonus. Kelvin Benjamin? Are you kidding me?
Kelvin is.
And you know what? Because Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott was on the team that drafted him, I'm gonna say the biggest bust in Bills history is Kelvin Benjamin. That's what I'm gonna say. Freaking bum.
That cannot count.
He was not drafted.
That cannot count.
You see me being petty? It counts.
That's crazy.
Hey, so what
Daryl
about
says? Go, read it for me,
Kelvin Benjamin was out there sweating squeezed cheese on the field. His blood type was gravy.
Y'all talking about people in the comments. Y'all got to relax.
Hey, okay, so I got a question for y'all. What are y'all thoughts on Jamarcus Russell?
He's the biggest bust in the history of football.
So
in history? You want to go with Ryan Leaf? I would go Ryan Leaf.
But Jamarcus Russell was expected to be like Ryan Leaf came out, he was expected to be good, but Jamarcus Russell was expected to be the next
I don't know.
What I mean?
Some people was
and then he came in and became a drug addict. And then
some people was thinking that Ryan Leaf was gonna be better than Peyton Manning.
Well, I don't know who those people are. Those people
it was a lot of them. It was a lot of them.
Those people are not working at ESPN anymore, I promise you.
Well, apparently ain't nobody working at ESPN no more. They all know.
Exactly.
I sent my resume over. I did.
Well, hey, do it, bro. Hey, do it.
I ain't leaving. I'm just joking. Well, no, I ain't joking about sending it over. But then, you know who else I would look at? Now, I know we stopped it at the third round. If there was somebody that I would really, for the Bills over the last few years, I'm gonna go Nathan Peterman, and then we can move on from this conversation. But I'm gonna tell you why. I know he was drafted in the 5th. He was drafted late, but he was drafted in the 5th. But he was very much given the opportunity to start. Not like it was a quarterback competition, like a real quarterback competition, and he won it. He started week 1 for the Buffalo Bills. This is
that
not
was with
like
Tyrod Taylor here, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
I think it was with EJ, and then the next year was EJ and Tyrod.
Yeah.
I think it was EJ and Tyrod the next year. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, but I feel like we had a year of EJ and Nathan Peterman.
Because Jordan was here with Nathan. Jordan wasn't here with EJ. And so
so maybe it was the year with Nate and Tyrod. Maybe that
I thought Tyrod should have started. That's my point with I had zero expectation for the game that he had against the Chargers. That's what I expected from Nathan Peterman.
Well, and I guess that's what I'm saying. That's who he was. But once they're like, oh, this is the start. Like I still got the tweet saved on my bookmarks. QB1, like the Bills posted QB1 with this whole thing. So now I agree with you. The expectations coming out the draft were nothing. But I'm saying going into the season when he won it, man, like Western New York was loving Nate Peterman and all this. And
because they started to hate Tyrod, even though Tyrod was what he was. Tyrod was going to give you what he gave you, and he wasn't going to give you any more. He wasn't going to give you any less. But and this was my whole argument back then, and I was getting upset about it. It's dude, Tyrod's going to give you what he's going to give you. Starting a rookie quarterback automatically ends your season, in my opinion, unless you get a Joe Burrow. And Nathan Peterman is not Joe Burrow, so I don't know what the thought process was. It was like a tank year if you're going to start Nathan Peterman. We ended up making the playoffs that year, though.
Shout out to my man Wayne. He said Nate Peterman was the best at throwing to the opposite team, and we did make the playoffs that year, but that was because of my dog Tyrod. Let's put some respect.
Well, that was because of the defense, but and Tyrod.
It was because of both. The defense was great, but offensively, it was Tyrod and Shady. It wasn't much else.
Yeah, a lot of Shady.
It was a lot of Shady, but it was we take credit away from Tyrod. He won that. He won that game against Tennessee for us single-handedly. He sprained his knee in that game and he still won it. I'm telling you.
I like Tyrod. I'm just saying that he was going to give you. He wasn't going to give you he was going to give you what he was going to give you, and I accepted that. It was better than Nathan Peterman. I don't know why Nathan Peterman ever was even in the conversation, but
I got to ask some of the players sometimes. Next time I link with any of them, how did y'all view it back at the time? Were y'all behind Tyrod? Were y'all behind Nate? Or was it just the coach said this is what we going with, so we going the ball out? Because I'm sure there's teams around the league where people are like, man, you know what I mean? This is our guy. But
from hearing people just really don't like rookie quarterbacks because you automatically know that that's the end of your season, unless, like I said, you're getting a franchise rookie quarterback that could win you games this year. The rookie quarterback is going to struggle. Pickett could be good one day, but I knew that you starting him over Mitch, he was going to struggle for half the season. He wasn't going to be great that season. So you're not going to get to the playoffs with Kenny Pickett. But rookie quarterbacks in general for NFL players, they just know the season's over at that point, and it's it's a real killer of the vibe.
I say they all bums. They all bums. All right, look, let's move on. Let's talk about some current news. Wait, so who are we saying is the biggest Bills bust though? Did we agree on somebody? Are we saying Cody is the one then?
Cody recently, Mike Williams.
All some good shouts. Mike Williams. Yeah, I don't even know who that is, so I think Mike Williams might win.
Mike Williams. The Bills had a couple Mike Williams on our team though. We something about a Mike that the Bills just seems to love. I don't know. So okay, well we'll stick there. Now today, and today being Wednesday, so for those listening by podcast on Thursday, this happened yesterday. So or maybe it was released Tuesday. I don't even know when it was released. But Josh Allen was on the podcast and he was talking about how the media. You know what? I'll let Josh tell you exactly what he said.
The Stephon Diggs stuff going on. Can you talk about your relationship with him?
Yeah, I love him. That's my guy. What the media has blown this so far out of proportion. right? Like we are in rookie or mini camp. We're not playing a game for 4 months. He doesn't show up one day. He's still there. You know, coach asked him to go home. We were in talks and discussions of trying to resolve some things, and it wasn't anything major. And media just blew it up. And they're still talking about it. She's like, let it go, let it go. There's no reason to continue talking about it. He was on the field with us the next day. You know, it was not a big deal.
It was not a big deal, is what Josh said at the end there. I'm offended. I'm offended. And I'll tell you why after both of you give me your responses to or what you feel about this. Let's start with Jeremiah. Or wait, who sent this in the chat? Was it Sterling or Jeremiah?
You know, it does. Hey, Jeremiah, you go, man.
No. Let's start with you. This was your topic. You wanted to talk about it. So what do you feel about this after hearing what Josh said there? How do you feel? I'm gonna give you the floor.
It's disrespectful to Stephon Diggs, man, because he obviously was bothered by the whole thing. Like, for you to come out here and say, and I love Josh Allen, but man, it's like, and I love my Bills, but at some point you can't just always trust the process. Like, you got to look at it objectively, and for him to come out and just be like, well, it was nothing. And you notice how he said it was a non-football related stuff. We've heard that, and we've heard Josh Allen say, well, you know, my preparation needs to be better. I'm fully dedicated to football, blah, 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 this whole offseason. And then you come out here and you act like there was nothing there. Like, what did Lil Dirty say? You know, Steph is going to be Steph, right? So he's going to talk about what he's mad about. And, you know, eventually it's going to have to get talked about. So, yeah, like, the dude, Stephon Diggs was mad. Like, he ain't say not one thing about the Buffalo Bills this offseason. Not one thing, man. And I think that's a problem. So, yeah, you can say the media's blowing up, but the media's, they just doing their job. And then you got Sean McDermott, who's not helping the situation at all, saying what he said. Like, you can't just overlook that stuff. Like, there, you know, it say when there's smoke, there's fire. And there's fire in the room.
I'll say that's the answer Josh is supposed to give. That's the answer he's going to give you. Like, that's just like, he's the type of person that he's going to give you the answer he's supposed to give you every single time. When you ask him a question, he's not really going to let loose on what's going on behind closed doors. And my thing is with Josh though, and like Josh has got to be careful, because you can't really go onto these podcasts and say it's not that big of a deal, and then Diggs is kind of making it look like it's a big deal. Like, you can't tweet about it in the offseason. You can't get on these podcasts talking about your old coordinator and then your quarterback. Like, it's just contradicting, even though that's what Josh is supposed to say. Like, that's what a good teammate is supposed to say. That's just how Josh is. He's going to have his teammates back regardless if the problem is there or not. Like, that's just how he is. But like, so I can't fault him for going that way, but I would be careful if I was Josh, because you're being contradictory towards what Diggs is bringing up, and that could be, you know, that could be a problem. So I would have probably just not answered it if I was Josh. If you were going to give that answer, just don't answer that question. But like, I mean, he had to answer it that way, in my opinion, if he was going to answer it.
And I get you. It's the quarterback answer. It's the coach talk answer. It's the answer that we're supposed to give. It's kind of the answer you expect to hear, right? So you both addressed it from the player perspective, like, you know, about Diggs, and then I'm gonna come, because I feel like he was coming at me, not personally. But he said the media is who drug it out, right? We dragged this thing out. I'm part of the media. Sterling, you're part of the media. Jeremiah, unfortunately, you're here now, man. You're part of the media. So this is my issue I have with that. We cover the team. Everything that happens with the team, we cover the team. When Josh Allen does whatever he does with the hospital, he gets more coverage on that than anything else that happens in the city that day. When Josh Allen does anything Josh Allen can go downtown and have a beer on Chippewa, and it's going to be on Twitter, and it's going to be the thing that we talk about all day, more than anything that goes on in Buffalo. So when the biggest wide receiver or the biggest star after Josh Allen on the team appears to be frustrated, we want to talk about it. And when the coach comes out and then I'm gonna wrap this up. When the coach comes out the first day and they say, is Stephon Diggs at practice? And he says, no, he isn't. Is that a concern? Yes, I'm very concerned. So the media is supposed to just be like, nah, we gonna ignore what coach said because Josh said we gonna blow this out of proportion. We gonna leave that alone. No. In what world does a head coach of one of the four best teams in the league make a statement like that about a star player and it's not news? Could you imagine back in the day? Do you remember when, and now I'm switching sports, but you remember when let's see, Dennis Rodman disappeared, went to Vegas. That was news. Why? Because it was one of the best teams in basketball. And yeah, they could have talked about Jordan scoring 36 last night. Of course they could have. But you know what's better and is a lot more fun to talk about and it's going to get us more ratings? Dennis Rodman not showing up because he's in Vegas with Carmen Electra. Like, it just is what it is.
Yeah, no, and I get that media has the right to speak on these things, and like it did come off from Josh that he was kind of, but these players, like they're in this area of social media now where they're allowed to set the narrative, like they're allowed to go speak on these things and set a narrative that they want to set, and so that's the narrative he's trying to set, is that it's not a big deal, regardless of what like McDermott said. He's trying to set this narrative that it's not a big deal, even if it is, because that's his job. His job is to try to diffuse the situation. And so like in this time and space we're in with social media platforms and podcasts, like this whole goal of setting narratives, like that's just what he's trying to do through it. Like, even though it's not his job, it shouldn't be his job to answer it. I don't know why Diggs hasn't got in front of a microphone, but
in reality, if I'm being honest, I'm torn, right? Because like I said, now I do the podcast, I do the vidcast, I write articles, I do all the stuff. So in one hand, yes, I am media. So when I say this, I'm torn because part of me, I missed the day when, and I said this the other day on Code of Conduct, or I don't know what show I was on, but I said this on a show. I missed the day when you didn't know much about Stephon Diggs. Not him. I'm not saying him personally. I'm saying our favorite players. So let's pick on your brother here. So Jordan, right? I missed the times that like, oh shoot, we got a star safety in Buffalo and he married a model, right? Oh shoot. That's all we knew. And all we saw was pictures. And so I'm picking on Jordan here because I got a relationship with y'all and I feel like I can do this. So what ends up happening is fans feel like they want to get to know players, right? It's like, I want to know everything about Jordan Poyer. And then when they finally get to know who Jordan Poyer is, and he has a different mindset, a different lifestyle, he views things differently. You know what I mean? Like then all of a sudden, oh, I don't agree with Jordan Poyer. Oh, he can go in this free agency. He can go. He because you don't agree with him politically or you don't agree with it. And then it becomes less about football and more about emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So then all of this stuff that we talk about all the time is just about feelings, man. And it's like, yo, let's talk about football. Let's talk about football.
That's the world we're in, right? You said it perfectly. Like that's the world we're in right now, to where like people care so much about things that really don't matter in the grand scheme of what we're talking, the topic that we're talking about. And they worry so much about, these people are put on what we talked about last week. These people their lives are put out there. Like, and it used to not be that way, like you said, but like now their lives are put on a national scale. And if you don't agree with them, you just don't like them anymore. And now Diggs is like viewed, like if this was all kept under wraps, nobody would care. And then we would go into the season, they would hash it out and nobody would care that Diggs had a whatever at the end of last season, got mad at Josh and like the mad at the offense and how the offense was being run, all this stuff. Like nobody would care about it if it was all kept under wraps, but nothing's kept under wraps anymore. Everything is for everybody to see. This is how it is. And so like, I applaud Josh for trying to keep it to something minimal, but it's just not at that point anymore. Like we're beyond that point of something being minimal. Like he missed a day. He's talking about, he said some things about the offensive coordinator in the offseason, about the team in the offseason, about Josh in the offseason. Like, and whether he's right in those things or not, generally teammates would not say that about one another, even if they felt that way. They would just say it to you in person. And so like, That's just like where we're at, and where everything's out there. You get to see, the fans get to see everything, and if you don't like them, you don't like them. It is what it is. Like I'm not a big fan of it. Just like you said, I'm not. I wish we were back in that day and age where you just got the news that when they get up to the podium and they are talking, like we just get that news.
Yeah, and I think it's cool, and that's why I said I'm torn, right? Because like on one hand, then on the other side of it, it's cool when you do get to have those days when Stephon Diggs feels like responding to most people in his comments, and it's fun when he's joking with people and he's talking about being on a game show on TV and his mom is joining him, so now he's joking with fans. That's cool. I enjoy that. But what I don't enjoy is like he tweeted a Meek Mill line and everybody lost their mind. And it was like, it's a rap lyric. Like people was in the comments, if this is about Josh, man, you could just go. We gonna cut you. What are you talking about? I know he knows what he's doing. No. He does, but at the same time, you can't. Because here's the thing: I post lyrics on my Insta. I don't do it on Twitter much, but I post lyrics on Instagram pretty much every day. If people read into the lyrics that I posted, y'all would think I was a drug dealer or a killer, or y'all would think I was mad at everybody or somebody in my life, and I did.
Okay, with all due respect, though, yeah, with all due respect, Stephon Diggs is followed by millions.
That's not the
point.
What
he's doing,
no, but
he knows what he's doing.
But no, it's not about the amount of followers. I'm not talking about that. We know he's him. We talk about that all year. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is, regardless if it's 1 follower or 5 million followers, if I just tweet a lyric, I don't care if you feel like I know what I'm doing or not. If I'm listening to Meek Mill and that bar hit, to me, when he said, you don't feed your wolves, they're going to put you on the menu. That's a bar. And I'm like, oh, shit, let me tweet that. Because I just feel it. It can't be, just because people don't know the lyrics, it don't mean that it's like, oh, no, it don't matter if he knows what you can't say he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, but if you feel it, you have a connection to it. If you feel a lyric that you're about to post on Twitter, you have some type of connection to it. And if he's going to go out and post that, yeah, people are going to read between the lines. Like, that's just how people are. Like, that's just,
I don't know.
What I mean? Like,
there's some lyrics, like there's some songs that I vibe with when it drops, and I'll be like, yo, this is my shit. But you'll never.
Drops? Yeah, when it drops.
Like when it come on or when I'm listening to it, like there's some joints that I like the song and I'll quote, but it don't mean that like I really vibe with it. Like I don't know. See, now it's on the spot, so I can't think of one off my head that I'll be like, see, I don't fool with that, but every time it come on, I rap it. But like there's songs, there's so many of them that I don't know. Maybe I just disagree. I just feel like my man Carrier in the comments said I ain't never sold drugs, but when Jay talked that talk, I'm in that. So again, yeah, when Jay-Z talk about losing bricks, that I still don't believe he lost that many bricks at one time. But anybody talk about losing bricks and all that, talk about selling crack, yeah, I'd be out here rapping like I'm, you know what I mean? Like I'm on a corner. I'm on a block, bro.
No, and you're right. No, I get it. You're right. But like Daryl said right here, he knows that Mafia reads into everything. So he does what he knows will stir them up. Do I think he's trolling the majority of the time? Yes, absolutely. But you cannot troll and then expect no reaction from the troll. Like you're doing it for reaction. And so like, I just if you're gonna do it, you have to live with the media attention and whatever on whatever you got going on. Like that's just if you're gonna troll, if you're gonna get on your Twitter and troll, then you got to live with the responses and the reactions.
I feel you. And that's why I guess I said I'm torn, because part of me feels like, you know what, I like the fact that the players are open and that they engage and that they do this stuff that they know we're gonna talk about, but then because I have to cover it, sometimes it gets annoying to answer. Like literally last week, I did I did like 5 guest spots last week. Every single one of them asked me about Stephon Diggs. So I felt like I was just regurgitating the same answer every show. It was like, okay, I can link you to the pod I did yesterday. You could just, you know what I mean? Like, but I can't say that. Right. Sterling, you got any more thoughts on this topic before we move on to the last one?
I just think there's always two sides, man. Sometimes I feel like, players, they're trying to position themselves for different reasons. And we don't know the conversations that go on behind closed doors between certain players or the organization. And I think also sometimes players, after the season, they don't give a flip about what's going on in the football world. They just want to be humans, So it's hard to read between the lines with some of that stuff, man.
That's fair.
Yeah, no, it is. And like I said, I guess I'm torn because I really do look at it like that. It's like I could just be listening to like Lil Wayne used to rapping about drinking lean all the time, and I'd be rapping and singing that to the top of my lungs. I haven't tasted lean one day, not once. Now, if you talk about weed, holla at your boy. You know what I'm saying? You rolling up, holla at me. But might roll up after this show.
You ain't putting nothing in no Sprite.
Nah, we don't do that. we don't do that. Might put some Tito's in there.
Some Tito's in Sprite.
Yeah, might put some Tito's in that Sprite.
Yeah.
Little 16th in the Sprite. Okay.
All right. Well, let's move on. We got about 10 minutes left before we get on out of here. So before we do, I kind of want to switch just for a hot second. So the NBA announced today that they're going to be so. If you're an NBA fan at all, they've been talking about this in-season tournament. So it's kind of like an in-season playoff that has a championship. And I haven't read too much on it, so I can't give specific details. But Woj dropped a bomb on us, and he says that the NBA's new in-season tournament Final Four is set for December 7th and 9th in Las Vegas. And statistics will count for the league's regular season except for the championship game of that event. Devil's advocate here. Because most people always hate it. No, well, I mean, they always hated additions. It's like, well, we're changing the league, so how are you going to compare it to before, and how are you going to do? A few years ago, everybody hated the idea of the play-in tournament. Now I feel like the play-in tournament is some of the best basketball throughout the year that we get to see. How do y'all feel about this?
About the play-in tournament? That's a fair statement. What you just said, absolutely.
You know what? I trust the NBA on this because they haven't let us down yet. Like everything that they've introduced lately has worked. Like, but the traditionalist in me says, hell no, you're not supposed to like it, right? But it's working. So I'm like, I enjoyed watching the playing games actually.
I did too.
So with the playing games, those games have a lot of meaning. You're in the playoffs or you're not. This midseason tournament, I guarantee you no stars playing it. Because they're going to sit and rest. It's going to be another extended rest period because you don't get nothing out of it. You get a little bit of extra check. They don't really care. They're making millions, 60 million. And Austin Reeves just got a 4-year, $56 million contract. Like they don't like.
Maybe because it says statistics will count
for
these games accepted. But check this. So technically, you have 2 extra games to play. What if I'm James Harden and I'm in the running to win the scoring title and get that bonus?
Wouldn't want to play in it?
No, but I would want to play in it because these points count towards my season total.
Right, but
if
you don't play in the game, then it doesn't it can't. You're still going to get the stats that you get from the 82 games. So like your averages are going to be from there. So if you're above, say he had 32 points and he play in those tournaments and he dropped 25, like. Because it's going to be harder basketball. You're going to be playing against people that want to win the championship in that moment, harder defenses. Yep. So like it could hurt your actual statistics.
But it doesn't, but they don't take the average for the scoring title. They take the total points. So if he scored 25, that's 50 points to add on to his total.
If you're chasing the scoring title for sure. But
so I'm just saying people like that. But I get what you're saying. Yeah. I agree with you. I just like playing devil's advocate to get y'all to say different stuff sometimes. That's all. Because I really be agreeing the whole time, and then I'm like, well, we can't just agree on the show because then they're gonna be like, why am I watching this? All they doing is sitting there agreeing with each other.
Oh man,
I like it. I like it.
I do. I like the idea of it. I think the NBA is doing a lot of things that I think the NFL should think about. I think innovation is something that the NFL has, but they lack in different areas. So like they have innovation when it comes to safety. They have innovation when they're changing the game, new helmets, and they're changing rules and all this stuff for safety. But what about the excitement? I get it. The NFL is exciting, right? Every year it don't matter. We always ready for the Super Bowl. It's the biggest of it. Okay, I get that. But in season, what about those Thursday night football games that we're watching? And it's like, I don't want to watch. Yeah,
dog last year. Denver was on Thursday Night Football for 3 weeks straight. Like it might have been the worst football I ever seen in my life.
So you talk about that, and it's like, come on, man. Like let's think of some innovation or some ways to make Thursday exciting again. Or let's think of what I would say. Take Thursday away and have a Saturday night game. I know we got college on Saturday. I'm an NFL guy. like let's have a primetime Saturday night game, a primetime Sunday night, primetime Monday night. No,
that
Thursday.
idea would absolutely be a great innovation because it would help the players. Like you're no longer getting short weeks, and so like
right.
Most of the innovations the NFL come up with hurt the players.
Yep.
And they don't give a damn about the players. That's the problem. NBA, if you're going to bring in something like this, they usually will take care of the players as well. Like they'll give the players an incentive to do these things. And like the NFL don't really give incentives like that. They're just telling you, you're going to do this. That's how it is. Like they don't really like work with the players like that. So I do like innovation. I like that Thursday night. No more Thursday night games, Saturday night. I'd like that because it's all on 3 days span.
And then Daryl here says, he's like, I don't need Thursday games, only on Thanksgiving. And I agree with that. And what you do is, so the teams that are playing on Thanksgiving, you make sure the schedulers say that week prior, that's your bye week. If you're playing Thanksgiving this year, you get to bye before Thanksgiving. So you're not playing a quick turnaround. Yeah. And so players are still feeling safe. They have the
no more Buffalo on Thanksgiving. So.
No more Buffalo. No, actually, you know what? I like Buffalo. I'm sure, well, your brother plays, so I'm sure it sucks for you, but I like it because then like,
we have two torn ACLs on 2 Thanksgiving games back to back. I don't want no more Buffalo on Thanksgiving.
We got to stop playing on turfs on Thanksgiving, and really not even on Thanksgiving. How about that be a change of innovation?
That's
no more turf unless it's the kind that the Bills have, because the Bills apparently have they have the one that actually shock, like it absorbs a lot of the so you don't get as many ACL tears on the Bills field. Okay, if that's going to be the turf, then let that be or let's just get natural grass. I'm so tired of all these ACL tears, and not even just for the Bills, man. I hate to see. I went through an ACL tear, so for me, like it just pains me when I see a player who has all this potential, they balling, and then out of nowhere they something happened and their season's over, just over.
Yeah, and it used to be their career.
Yeah, it used
before
to be.
This, and I just don't understand. Like you've seen all these injuries, I don't understand how they can still want to have the turf games. I'm not sure like the incentive behind it. But
let me ask you this: Daryl just mentioned something else about the 17 games. He said they could have left it at 16 and took away preseason. That's still showing that you care about your players, and he called the owners greedy. How do y'all feel about that? I personally like the 17 games. Because we took fans. One of the preseason.
Right.
No, I'm saying because we took the preseason away. But yeah, when you're talking about player safety, how do you guys feel about that conversation?
I like that. It's just the preseason is kind of meaningless, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess if it's for the undrafted guys and for your rookies to kind of get a feel of what's going on, but I think you could do that in certain scrimmages, team-to-team scrimmages, right? But the preseason, we like it because we're football heads, but for the majority, it's really unwatchable. Like, why have the preseason? I do like the 17-game regular season. I just going back to our conversation, I just wish the NFL was a little bit more innovative when it came to that. And if they were really about player safety, they would really change some things to benefit the players. But instead, it feels quite the opposite, where we talk about not having grass fields because of monetary things. But you look at how much the revenue the NFL is making, it's like you really can't turn 32 fields to all grass fields. Like you can't do that. It just to me it sounds a little crazy.
Yeah,
one more. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, because I was going to change it real quick. Go ahead.
The 17 games, like that's like we're fans. We watch. We love that. We want as many games as possible. The players do not like that 17 game at all whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's wild that all the innovations that they ever come up with are just never in favor of what the players want. It's like it's always in favor of like making more money for the owners and whatnot. So I wish there was an innovation for the players.
You want to hear the petty fan in me? This is the petty fan. Will tell the players to go undefeated and lock up the playoffs by like week 13, week 14, and then they ain't got to play week 16 and 17. I'm joking. That's the petty version of it. That's the petty version of it.
That's crazy.
No, but in real talk, and then this is the last innovation, and then we'll get on out of here. Now, one other thing I do hate, but I think they can improve on, and I think it can be amazing. The Hall of Fame game should not be a preseason game. And I don't think that I know the enshrinement always happens the same time of year, and I get it. I think they should move it to like closer to the end of the season like really the end of the season, not after the Super Bowl. I'm saying the regular season. And what I would do is I would make one of those. So whoever's being, going into the Hall of Fame, like whatever the biggest or the second biggest player going in is, you highlight that team for that week. You let the team do something for that player during a real NFL game where it matters, is like meaningful football. You know what I'm saying? And then it's one less preseason game for that team. So we're talking about health again. It's meaningful football. You enjoy it. You're not watching guys because really those games, I think the starters play one series, if that sometimes. And then you're watching guys that won't even make the XFL sometimes. So for me, it's like, let's X that. Move it to a season game when it's meaningful football. I don't know. I just feel like if you know what, Roger, hit me up, man. Roger Goodell, hit me up. I got some ideas for you. We can take this to another level. We can take it to another level. Let's get it. I don't know if y'all like that because y'all got quiet, so I feel like y'all don't like that idea. That's okay. I'm gonna be the commissioner. We're gonna make it happen.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
Make it happen,
so,
commissioner.
Before we get out of here, Steros, why don't you let everybody know where they can find you? If you got anything coming up this week or next week that you want to highlight, any articles or something?
You can find me at Furrow Sterling on Twitter, and I've amassed 8,000 followers on the TikTok machine there. Just to let y'all know, but I'm just enjoying the break, but I am going to be getting geared up here pretty soon, close to training camp.
Okay, we got some good announcements coming up surrounding Sterling's show, so I'm excited about it. What about you, Jerry? I know you just getting used to it now, but we're gonna get some announcements for you. We're gonna have some news coming. I don't know what I gotta make happen, but we're gonna make it happen. But let everybody know where they can find you and what you got coming up, man.
I'm on Twitter at jpo_NA. Kind of just mobbing on there for now. I know Twitter's on the down low right now because everybody's not messing with the new updates, but we got Jordan's tournament coming up this weekend in Florida, over there at the golf course that shall not be named, but it should be a fun weekend. I'm excited for it.
That's gonna be dope. I'm really upset that I'm missing that one. Like I normally don't have FOMO about anything, like literally anything. Everybody was in Kansas City last season at the game. I didn't care. I was like, I'm watching it here. I got FOMO about this golf tournament, like seriously FOMO. Shout out to my guy Robbie here, great jersey. I had to support my man Diggs today. Everybody been dogging my boy today, so I'm with my guy. And y'all know how I do it. It's your boy Jay Spencer King. We represent Buffalo Rumblings, and we are enjoying it, man. I'm really excited that the season is coming. The preseason's coming. We got a lot coming up. Joe is coming back. Joe Miller coming back with the Overreaction Show. John Fiend and the Off Tackle Show is coming back. Sarah got a new show coming up. She got a primetime show happening, and Jerry got a primetime show happening. Sterling gonna be doing a post-game show. We just got shit happening. I like to say it like that. We got shit happening. Yeah, that's what it is. So y'all love each other, take care of each other, and live in peace. And as always, stay positive. So that's negative. Go Bills. Let's get it.
Go Bills.